Let's look at the second way of making a row of stem stitches with a sequin, 3 seed beads, and another sequin. I will make a turn in the row. I have made the first stitch. I bring the needle up next to the middle of the previous stitch and always from the outer side of it. And again, I pick up a sequin, 3 seed beads, and another sequin. Both sequins have their cups facing up when sewn on. I determine where I want to bring the needle down. This point will determine the direction of the row, whether it be straight or have a turn upwards or downwards. I want my row to turn down, so I insert the needle in the fabric with a slight shift downwards. I bring the needle back up next to the middle of the previous stitch with a slight shift to keep forming the turn. I pick up another sequin, 3 seed beads, and sequin. I bring the needle down with a turn downwards. If I'm following a previously made sketch or a pattern printed on fabric, then I will simply regulate the direction of the row by bringing the needle down and back up in particular points. Just make sure the row looks even. If I choose the stitch made of 2 sequins with 3 seed beads in between, then I will strictly stick to this combination. Only then will the embroidery look neat. This braided row suits for outlining circles, ovals, and all kinds of flowers and petals used on lace fabrics. You could also design your own pattern on single color fabric with no decorations or printed motifs. Or you could decorate an existing pattern. It also works for embroidering a whole dress and not just a separate motif. Simply make sure not to change the style of stitches within the same row. You can always make the next row with different stitches if you wish. They will all look great as long as you don't just interrupt a row out of nowhere to continue with different stitches. If you need to make the row narrower, you can reduce the amount of beads in the stitch. For example, a sequin, 2 seed beads, a sequin. And then a sequin, 1 seed bead, a sequin. This way, you can gradually narrow the row, use a single sequin at the end, tie a knot, and move on. Just remember not to change the technique within one and the same row. Here is what the row looks like. The next option is a regular row of sequins. It's the easiest and most tried and true way of sewing sequins. I slip a sequin on the needle, press it down with my thumb, catch literally just 1 millimeter of fabric at the edge of the sequin, and draw the thread tight. That's it! The sequin is secured in place. It's the fastest and easiest way ever. The direction of the row depends on where you bring the needle down. This stitch is very good for smooth transition from sequin fabric to mesh fabric. Usually there is a quite noticeable border between the two. In that case, I simply cut the required amount of sequins right off the sequin fabric and sew them on along the border by hand.